Have the analysts been guilty of a little irrational exuberance? Well, let's put that question to Gunnar Miller. He helps to oversee something like $80 billion in assets at RCM. Gunnar, great to see you. What happened here then?
Morning, Rich. Well, I think there were a lot of built-in expectations into the aluminum market that reflected some of the unique characteristics. As you just reported, they missed the earnings expectations but beat on revenues. The reason they really beat on revenues was because aluminum prices have been spiking, and there is some controversy as to whether or not aluminum prices have increased because of a real pickup in sustainable demand, or whether or not speculators have been taking advantage of cheap money and actually locking up 75% of the market. You have an unusual situation where aluminum prices are actually higher whilst inventories are high at the same time.
Gunnar, I mean, you said it here, it's about top line, isn't it? And if we do see that reflected in other statements and other companies out with the revenue on the way up, we've got to be confident, haven't we?
Well, there is an aspect to the demand that was mixed. They said that auto demand was relatively strong, but aerospace demand was weak. And again, the cost side of the equation, and of course aluminum makers are very energy intensive, the cost side of the equation was actually pretty high. So the higher pricing were the way that they beat on the top line. And we think that this is going to paint a picture for a very mixed bag for fourth quarter reporting across various industries.
So which ones are going to do better, which ones are going to do worse here?
I mean, in general, we think that the U.S. economy is likely to show lower than potential growth in 2010, but clearly improving growth as a result of the stimulus and restocking that are likely to continue to occur. The ISM surveys recently are pointing to about 4% year-on-year growth. That's against clearly some easy comparisons, but clearly better.
Who for you are going to be the key companies to watch here, Gunnar?
Well, we think that people are going to be focusing a lot on the financials, and it'll be interesting because we think financials results are going to be a really mixed bag. A lot of it is going to be dependent upon the timing of TARP repayments. They've sort of scrambled up anticipated results. It's likely to be a mixed bag with the J.P. Morgans and the Wells Fargos of the world, likely beating expectations with the Bank of America's and perhaps the Morgan Stanley's not. And so we're in a situation where everybody's going to be focused on the financials, but it might end up being the area that tells us the least about what's going on in the real economy. Yeah,
moving from Wall Street to Main Street, how do you think retailers have been doing over Christmas in particular?
Well, back to my area of specialty, which is a bit more on the European side of things, I noticed this morning that the Tesco numbers look pretty good. I take it that the Cadbury numbers, which came on as I was coming over, again, we're pointing to reasonably decent high street demand. So it does appear as though the consumer has righted himself. But what we're really concerned about is that a lot of this recovery is, in effect, a jobless recovery, and that might impact the veracity of the recovery as we get further into 2010. We continue to think that we're not likely to see rate increases until the third quarter of 2010 as a result.
Gunnar, great to see you. Gunnar Miller there from RCM joining us from Frankfurt.